Shoes are getting freakier. Once upon a time, people wore basic pumps, basic trainers, and elegant loafers. But in 2026, that is no longer the status quo. From shoes meant to be art pieces like the Mischief Big Red Boots, to shoes that look alien and bizarre like the claw monster feet things that I keep seeing on social media. When it comes to shoes, I truly don't know what to expect anymore. And that just makes being a consumer even more fun. At the top of my freaky shoe pyramid is the humble tabi. And that's why today I want to dive into them. I'm going to go into the history behind them, where you can find your own pair, also just like some little tidbits and some fun facts about them. If you like this type of content and you like all things fashion and culture and styling, make sure to subscribe to my channel for weekly videos. Let's dive on in. Now, surprisingly, the tabis aren't a new phenomenon. They came about in the 15th century in Japan and were initially used as socks. At that time, the thong sandal was very, very popular, as it still is now, and people wanted a sock to go with it, so they made a sock that had the split toe design. And these were especially helpful because they were perceived to help with balance and control. And as they became more and more popular, people started to diversify typical materials that were used to make them. Instead of using cotton to make them, they started using things like leather and even straw in some circumstances as well. And despite them starting so far back, it wasn't until really the 19th century when they were cemented as a shoe for all to wear. The first official people to make them into an official shoe was a tire manufacturer who added a rubber sole to the base of the sock design. These were then adopted by manual workers and were even worn by soldiers during both World Wars. And the most notable thing about them was that apparently these made the soldiers really easy to find because their footprints all had the split toe design and footprint in the mud and snow that they were fighting in. And then later, in 1951, the newly founded Onitsuka Tiger were looking for a shoe to kind of hit the market and to gain them some popularity, and they developed a running shoe. You know, the typical running shoe that you imagine, but they had a twist. They added that tabi design to them, then worn in the 1951 Boston Marathon by Shigeki Taniki. This put them in the light of the whole entire world. Did they become mainstream? No, not yet, but they started to develop a niche and some interest behind them and the design behind them. So when it came to the 1980s, when Maison Margiela was looking for shoes and inspiration for his first collection, he went to Japan, and upon finding the tabi shoe and the silhouette, he fell in love. As Maison Margiela typically does, when designing a shoe, he didn't decide to necessarily create something completely new. He decided to take something that already existed and elevate it. To do this, he made the complete shoe leather and added a nice rounded heel to them. And at first, it didn't really have that appeal. Manufacturers apparently refused to make this so many times. But when it came to his runway, it really impressed people, especially because of the last act, where models dipped their feet in paint and walked the runway with those shoes, cementing the shoe and making its mark literally in history. And the last brand to take their take on it was Nike, with their Nike Air Riffs. They wanted to create a kind of minimalistic, running, casual shoe version of them, and that they did. These shoes kind of blended that tabi silhouette with like a sandal design, with the design language of the Y2K and 90s era, and they're really, really nice and they really worked. But one thing about all this history is that they never blew up like you see a typical shoe like the Jordan 1 or the Air Force 1 ever did. They were always quite niche. So why now in 2026 are they as popular as they are? One thing that I keep saying in all of my videos is that people are bored of fashion. It feels as though everyone is wearing the same clothes, they're drawing inspiration from the same places, and so there's always a need to disturb the status quo. On top of that, we've seen the rise of the ugly shoe. Look at the past 5 years. Look at things like Yeezys, massively popular. Are Yeezys aesthetic or pretty looking? I would not say so. Look at Crocs, becoming the everyday shoe for people and the everyday comfort shoe. I feel like both of these reasons make a perfect gap in the market for the tabi to come in and rise to the top as it rightfully should. It's ugly and different, but classy and cool at the same time. And it's interesting to see that because of Maison Margiela's tabi iteration becoming so popular, lots of shoes have kind of followed in that popularity and even tried to follow in those tabi footsteps. One that I can think of off the back of my head is I've seen a pair of tabi Tims. At the height of the Tim's craze, the tabis were also becoming popular. And people went, how can we get the best out of this? Let's combine the two. Very, very interesting take, if I do say so myself. And I think my love for them comes from a similar situation. I first seen them in a PQ video where they were styled, I believe it was either the high fashion episode or the women's wear episode. I can't quite remember. But ever since I've seen them then, I've wanted a pair. I've been fascinated. I've been intrigued. I'm sorry. Are they different? Yes. Are they quirky? Yes. But that is ultimately what makes them so fun. And above all, I love all the reactions I get when I wear them. You get questions and conversations that started just from people looking at a shoe. And it's literally from anyone, from my friends and family to even random strangers asking me, are these comfortable? Where did you find them? Why are you wearing them? It's fun. I like it, I'm sorry. And I personally have a pair of tabi loafers. Not official, they're from Walker, Vietnam. I'll get to that in a bit. And they just fill that perfect void. I needed a loafer in my wardrobe and I needed a quirky, different, interesting shoe. Just to me, they feel so versatile despite being a loafer, and I can wear them on a very casual basis, but also for a very formal base as well. Hopefully I've indoctrinated you into the tabi cult. So the question is, where do you buy them and where do you get started? Let's start with the Air Rifts. For the sporty people among us, these are definitely the way to go. The Air Rifts are perfect for summer because they're lightweight, breathable, sleek, comfy. And my personal favorites are the red floral colorway and this kind of brown colorway with like metal harness detailing on it. It's just really interesting. Along with that, you obviously have the typical black, your white, and a silver pair, which I feel like is the most iconic and known silhouette for the Air Rifts. And for a price point, these start pretty cheap for a shoe. They start at about £70, I found, on sale in lots and lots of places. And next we go on to the typical Maison Margiela silhouettes of tabi shoes. There are lots of different options for these, most of them having a kind of smarter / more formal look towards them. And at the top we have the tabi boots. These used to be a grail of mine. I'm actually pretty certain that I had them in one of my first, I cringe first TikToks, in my grails and my wish list videos. They have, as I said before, this beautiful rounded wooden-esque heel to them. And the shoe feels very 70s in design, with how flamboyant but also sleek it is. These are still a grail, but the pair that I opted for when I was buying mine was tabi loafers. These take the design that you know, the penny loafer design, and add the tabi split-toe design aspect to them. For me, I chose these because they can be worn all year round. You can wear the loafers for more of a casual event as well. And then the last silhouette of tabi is the derby silhouette. Picture the Doc Martens 1461 low boot, a typical derby that everybody has a basis for, and imagine them as tabis. And there you go. That's what you're looking for. These to me are the most casual of tabis, to the point where I don't think you can wear them as effectively as a formal shoe. All of these come at an extremely high price point. I'm just going to put some places on Essence and Farfetch and you guys can go crazy. That's why if you're into it, I would opt to look secondhand for these. Let me put you onto some game. The brand that I've heard tons and tons of people talk about is the Woodchuck Sato. These, I think I've seen them on Etsy before, and these make tabi style shoes as well. I think they opt for the loafer and the derby styles, and they come at a decent price point at around £100 to £140. Now, despite me hearing a lot on social media, I have heard a lot of mixed things. Some people say they're really, really good, and they're really good alternatives, and others say that they're kind of cheap and not the best. But I think they are made in England, so you have to take your pros with your cons. And my pair is from, as I said, Walker, Vietnam. This is a company based in Vietnam, and they hand make these with Italian leather. I love my pair. I think they're so nice, and you can't really go wrong. The price point is £90. It's how much I paid for them, and they come with a Vibram sole, which does have its ups and downs. I found that the sole keeps like falling off. Maybe it's because I'm just very rough with them and they're a very delicate shoe. That could definitely be a case. So I've had to take them to a cobbler before for the same thing to happen again. It is a bit weird and interesting. Hopefully I'll get it sorted out. But then you have to think, at such a low price point, you can't necessarily complain too much. And then if you want to go for a more traditional style sock tabi shoe, there's a brand literally called Tabi. These guys make really comfy and lightweight tabi shoes it's more of a sock style. Personally, one of my friends have a pair of these, and whenever he wears them, they just look so effortlessly, and also they match perfectly with shorts, and even to be fair, some long pants as well. They're just so nice once again for the summer. Again, the price points for these vary. I've seen them on sale on some websites for like 80, 90 pounds, but I think generally they start about 140 pounds. So it just depends once again on your price point and what type of shoe you're looking to go for. That is all I have for today's video. I want to know what your guys' thoughts on tabis are. Do you guys think that these are the next shoe to be a thing, or do you think they're going to evolve more? Like, look at the 5 fingers. They are a shoe that have become massively popular, probably I'd say off the back of the tabi shoe. And the vibrant 5 fingers, I think they're freaky, real freaky. I'm kind of interested to know what other people's response to them is. Like my content, you like me, make sure to follow me on social media on shun_t. That's shun_.t. I post fit pics, I post TikToks and reels, I post random stuff that's just generally interesting. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.